Look in there. See this? Should always open them up. Get all this crud out. Or don't. Alright, I'm going to try to save the gasket. Look at that plastic cam. You can see how dirty it is in there. It's like that all the way in the bottom. And there's this channel here. Since there's no plug, drain plug in the back, that just collects here. I'm going to try my best to clean out all of this before putting it back together. But right now, we're going to work on getting this piece out, the governor. So this right here, this piece is what they call the governor. And if you're trying to get rid of this thing, there's a couple steps you got to do. First, you got to take this arm out. This runs to the top here. There's a linkage that goes to your carburetor. If you have the stock carburetor set up, this one still has it on it for the moment, just for demonstration. So we're going to disconnect this whole linkage and then start working inside of here. But it's been on there a while. Might want to stay. There we go. This is just a pin. Floats on the pin. There you go. Now this arm, tweaked it a bit now. I should just come down through the bottom. And I'm not sure, I can't remember if you can get it out. I believe you can. Huh. Okay. Now I messed up. I need to rotate the engine to get this. Oh, wait. Oh, there you go. Now technically you could leave this in there, but you're kind of risking it blowing up on you. So best thing is to just get it out of there. And if you don't want to pull the crank, pull the connecting rod out, you could punch this out without having to take anything out at all. But since I'm going to be replacing this, I'm going to go ahead and have to take the connecting rod off of the crankshaft. I'm going to slide the whole crank out and then punch this out from the back there. Now I'm going to try to clean this up, but I need to get this stuff out. Before I go dumping it, I'm going to go ahead and take the camshaft out. This whole thing is plastic. I'm going to go ahead and replace this with a stock Predator 212 camshaft if I can. I'm not sure if it's going to line up, but I'm going to try, and we'll see. Don't have to worry about this one rusting though, I'll tell you that. And make sure the tappets don't come out. If they do come out, make sure they go back in the same hole they came out of. I got one. Now these are worn into each other, so you need to keep these in line. Say you want, this is the left side of the engine when you ride it. This would be the left valve, which is the exhaust valve. Make sure that, hang on. Exhaust on one side, and intake on the other. Now I'm going to keep them orientated. Exhaust, intake. Don't get them mixed up. I'm even going to go as far as get a Sharpie. Exhaust, intake. Now I was going to try to save this gasket, but since I got to clean it out and I'm taking everything, I'm going to try to pull it off and not damage it. I only have one extra. I do have an extra, but don't want to go breaking it if I don't have to. I got a scraper. This is not a screwdriver. Oh, look at that. This engine is fairly new, so if you have an engine with over 20 hours on it, I wouldn't count on this happening. Just kind of lucked out with this one. I bought the new mini bike a couple years back. Haven't ridden it much, so this engine is pretty fresh, which is why I'm doing this. gonna tip it down. Get as much of that nastiness as I can out of there. I took the valves and the tappets out so I can't lose anything. I'm pretty much gonna have to do that anyways. Alright. There we go. The rest I'll wipe out. I'm gonna take a clean rag. I'm not gonna spray anything in there. Not yet, but just wipe that out of there. I guess this is just crud left over from the break-in period at the factory or whatever. But I've seen the guys like Redbeard talk about it. They just say to get it completely out of there, and I agree. And you're still gonna have some left over in here, so don't forget to take that out. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. Alright, well, it's not perfect, but we're going to change the oil after we run it anyways. So, alright, so now it's time to get that governor out. Now this is the back side of it. Right here. It's not a bolt, it's just a shaft. You can punch it out. And that's what I'm going to do. Hit it from this side. Doesn't take much. Just take your ball peen hammer. Now keep your eye on this piece right here. There he goes. You saw that? Oh, a little dramatic. But here you go. You got, curve it down. That's where it landed. So it came out of there. And you got the rod that it rides on. This is the governor piece. Faster it spins, these spread open and it slows itself. It runs into like a homeostasis and it stays only at a certain speed. And doing it this way, you don't break anything, so you could put it back if you ever wanted to. If you have a kid or something that's riding the bike and you don't want them to go that fast. So, got these pieces out. There is one more washer left inside of there. Do not forget that one. Can really mess you up. Take a pick or something. gonna be a pain because it's all covered in oil. Come on. I don't have nope. And I dropped it. There it is. There we go. Do not forget that. Now, a lot of people, they'll run a bolt through there. Now, I've seen a lot of people, they'll put a bolt. They take a, I got one made over there somewhere, but they'll take like a 1/4 inch bolt, run it through this hole, and have it like that. But I'm not going to be running anything crazy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right back in the hole. Which is harder than it sounds. Let me get my needle nose. Now you want to put it in this side first. It's tapered. Oh man. There you go. Now that it's set in there, you tap it down. Of course, I'm running higher crank pressures and all that. You start running RPMs, but I'm really not going that hard. This drift is all gross, getting dirt in my engine. Just tap it in. Hear the tone change when it sets. That setting on that shoulder, and you don't have to drill. You don't have to worry about screws getting metal getting in your engine. That hole's plugged. Now to deal with this one. This is on top. This is where the governor arm came out. There we go. And cut it off right there. Need my glasses. Alright, that's better. Remember, it's going in your engine. You do not want any of these to make their way in there. It's going to be some aluminum floating around your engine just normally. Just bad enough. You do not want steel. Just make it. That's fine. So that's what you're left with. Alright. So you're left with this piece. Oh, come on, focus. So you got the groove here. Then these pieces. You should have a couple washers left over. So take a washer. It'll ride on that. And you take this. And we put it, it's going to go right there. Now, alright. Going to rotate the engine a little bit. Take my needle nose. This might be a little tight. Great, it's hitting the crank. Alright, so I'm going to have to rotate the crank. Don't like doing it this way, but that might be alright. Let's try that. Oh, there it is. Yep. Make sure that's seated up there. And now, looking at this. That's the governor arm. And it rotates freely. Up here, you got this this shoulder. Put your pin, you took this pin off, put it back. And I'm just going to clean it up real quick before. Alright. It's very annoying. There we go. So while you're holding the pin up, oh, great. Be sure to drop your cotter pin. And There we go. And now it doesn't go anywhere. It only has 90 degrees rotation anyways. So flat side with the shoulder. Round side right there. And that's the quick and dirty way to plug the governor hole with the governor parts. No bolts or threads needed. Alright. Now, if you just wanted to take the governor out, that would be all you needed to do. Take it out, plug the holes. Super simple. If you do that, and you're running a big carb and a header, you're gonna wear this. You're gonna wear this out super fast, and I've experienced that. I did that on my last 196. Now this I'm building as a replacement, so I want to do it right, or at least right. So what I got to do? I know this is open end, but this is a crappy wrench, anyways. Super easy to get this out. Should only be about 17 foot-pounds. Oops. Alright, that's... I stand corrected. Let me get a real wrench. No. The 10 fits, but it's kind of sloppy. Alright. Pretty tight, actually. Got that one. And that one. Once they're broke loose, they should come out nice and easy. Shouldn't be any resistance. If you have binding, something's wrong. There you go. And then the other one. No washer. These are supposed to be torqued to spec. And when we put it back, we'll do that. Alright, we got the bolts out. Now take this little dipper. And let's see. The dipper is a machine fit on the connecting rod, so here we go. This comes off first. And the main reason these fail, there is no bearing race. It is just aluminum on steel in there. These things run great, but when they start wearing out, it's going to start vibrating. It's going to start pulling itself apart, literally. And the new pieces, it'll have a bearing race, and it'll be all billet. I'll show you that when we get there. Now that you have the dipper off, rotate your assembly, I'm all oily. You can rotate your assembly, push the piston into the jug, and now back it off. There you go. You're free. Now this, the newer ones should just come right out. That's not always the case. Oh yeah, okay. So rotate it to where your counterweights and your crank are not connecting with the piston. See, the piston connecting rod is all the way up as far as it can go. And in this position, you should be able to just pull it out. Alright, I stand corrected. Might have to take, oh crap. Oh, alright. Yep. So it has to be all the way in. You see that? All the way in. And then you could pull this whole thing out. Now we're going to take a hammer to this. This gear is just pressed on. We'll take it off. Alright, so on the flywheel side, you have this. And this only exists to run the governor. Now that it's gone, it just equals more rotating mass, which means slower acceleration. Give it a couple friendly whacks. And it comes right off. There you go. Unnecessary. And it only weighs a few grams, but horseshoes and hand grenades. Alright, now I'm going to attempt to pull this connecting rod without pulling the piston. So that's going to be fun. But if I pull the piston, it's not end of the world. I just want to do it just for the sake to see if I can. I've seen Ike do it on Cars and Cameras. I've done it on a GY6 motor. Those are different, but so get it right there. Right about there. You see that? This is the rod. Wrist pin, I mean. Now you want to be able to pull this wrist pin, leave the piston in, and we can get the new one in without having to compress the rings. And try your best to keep it aligned, so it might go messing your rings up. Alright, I'll get my pick. The C-clip. C-clip. Now the fun part. Oh, there it is. Ah, dang it. Okay. And get my pinky in there. I gotta pull this out. Dang, man. It is right there. I was able to do this on one other engine. Oh, here it comes, I think. I don't want to scar up the pin. It's the only one I got. So, figure out a way to grab it without killing it. Okay, it's not good. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Also, it's just steel on aluminum here. Still great. Fresh motor. Doesn't look too worn. Doesn't look too bad. We could save this as a spare. And that's it. Stock connecting rod, 196. Piston still in. We just need to trade this out. So this is what I have to replace the connecting rod. This is an ARC Racing connecting rod. Comes with the bearings. Now look at that. Much beefier construction. You could just tell. This one looks like a Terminator arm. And this looks like it was on Henry Ford's toilet. And the best feature of this, besides the bearings, is the fact that the dipper has a hole in it. And this channel runs all the way up and lubricates the wrist pin as well. Lubricates the entire inside of this and up here. Oh wait. Yeah. At least that's how it was advertised. You know what? No. It just lubricates the inside here. Keeps it cool. So I take that back. Very cool. I'll just make a... This should be a machine fit, no slop. Yep. ARC Racing quality products. Alright. So these bolts, these are special bolt. This is a 1/4 inch 12-point bolt. Won't take a 1/4 inch 6-point. Has to be a 12-point. And there's a very specific torquing procedure to get these onto the crankshaft. And we'll cover that whenever I get the torque wrench. I can't talk today. Anyways, I don't have the torque wrench on me. So what we're going to do today, put the wrist pin in, attempt to at least. We'll push the piston all the way back up, and we'll get the crank just in position, and I'll get that torque wrench tomorrow. Gonna have to clean up. It is a mess around here. So here's just a shot of how clean I got it in there. Still some, but it's mostly this stuff in the bottom I was concerned about. So want it as clean as possible, obviously. Got my oil can, and that is full of this stuff, IW30, high mileage or whatever, but it has the zinc additives already in it, so I don't have to add anything. Very nice. So we're going to have to install these bearings. Let me zoom out a little bit. It's right here. Now these should also be machine fit and polished. Nice. So it doesn't hurt none. Just go ahead, get a little oil on it. Just get that completely covered. Oil the inside of your races. It'll just make it easier. There's a ridge on each one of these. There and there. That coincides with this mark here. So you're going to want to line that up. It's going to look like that. You got to make sure this hole lines up with that one. And just press it down. Looks like this might be the wrong race. See how it's not? I like it a little better. I'm going to go ahead and check. Oh, if I can get it out. Alright, well, that might be the way it is, the way it needs to be. Dang it. Nope. Alright. Now, looks like I have to use the other race to push it out. Dang it. Yep, definitely did that wrong. Alright, this is stuck. And now, demonstration. Gotta be really careful. Okay. Believe that was the wrong race. This should be the one. Yeah, that fits way better. Should be a perfect machined edge. And you see the way it lines up now. Repeat this on the bottom, the dipper side. Maybe a little more oil. Alright. The heck? Why's that one off? Alright. So you should be able to slide it back and forth. They fit together. And I believe that's it. Took a little longer than it should have, but you really don't want to mess these up. This is very critical. So right now I'm just snugging them up and make sure. You almost don't even want to see a line. It should be one cohesive piece. And run your finger on the inside. There should be next to no seams. You're going to feel it, but that's just leagues above what this is. Alright, so now we need to get this in here without busting the piston out. So, note to self, take this off before you try to put it on there. You might panic and think it's not going to fit. But most people pull the piston out anyways. So yeah, take your connecting rod off, or bolts out. After you set your races, make sure they all fit. You want to pre-clearance that with your crankshaft as well. Go ahead, set this on the inside. Take your wrist pin. Make sure it's good and oiled up. Wouldn't hurt to have some on the inside too. And go ahead, slide that back. Be very careful. Into the connecting rod. And now it's seated on the other clip. And we get our clip back reinstalled. Keep a hand on the piston. We're so close, don't want to lose it now. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Connecting rod installed. And there you go. Alright, now it's back. Remember, you want it as far as you can get it. Because we got to catch the crankshaft in there. So we got connecting rod installed, and the piston at least. Now it's time to get this thing back. Let's go ahead, give it a little oil. Oh wow, keep the fuzz off there. Flywheel side. That's in there. You gotta kind of put it in about that angle. Rotate it counterclockwise. Scratch that. Now that the crank's in, try to pull the piston back down a little bit.